yeah, that's the mom brain needs to shut off for a little bit.
Jen's worried about creating the next Tinder swindler.
The next Anna Delvey.
That'll be me. That'll be my luck.
Well, they'll be well dressed for sure.
That's true. I mean, in prison, but well dressed. Which I guess what more could you ask for?
Oh gosh. Welcome, dog moms and dads, to our show where we discuss the everyday joys and challenges of pet parenting. I'm your host, Jen.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is the Dog Mom Podcast presented by ZippyPaws.
Woo! Did you have to read off the script?
Yeah, I did have to read. It's been a month. How many months? Has it been a year?
Almost.
Yeah.
And we're still at home.
We're still at home. I'm never going back to the office. It's been nice, you know. Some things have changed.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Like I feel like we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
We definitely have a lot to talk about. Yeah.
I think I know the main reason for our hiatus, and I feel like all of our followers and all of our listeners can clearly tell that you got a new space to film in. Right?
Mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
yes, it, right? That's it. So this is my office. Previously, I was like filming in the spare bedroom, but that's no longer available for filming.
Yeah, I heard you got evicted, and would you like to tell us why for all of those that don't follow you on social media?
Well, I got 2 new roommates. Their names are Roman and August, and they live in that bedroom now, so it's a nursery. I had twins.
Yay! Well, we're glad you're back.
Yeah, I think we didn't really plan on being away for so long, but then I got pregnant and I couldn't really get myself to do anything other than, you know, the bare minimum. And I got big really fast, so at some point I was just like a bowling ball with legs.
I feel like your definition of big is you're a little harsh on yourself. I think you looked great through your entire pregnancy. I saw you through most of it, and I think you looked phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, for having twins, I think it was pretty good. I mean, I did gain 60 pounds, so it was a lot. Everything was swollen. My legs were swollen. My ankles were swollen. But you know, I feel much, much better now that they've evicted from my belly, and now they're in I feel so much better, so much lighter. And I think they're 11 weeks today, so they were born New Year's Eve, so that's what we're gonna be doing for all New Year's Eves in the foreseeable future. We can't go out with friends. We're gonna spend them with our babies.
I mean, that's the best way to ring in the new year, I would say.
Yeah, we have a photo of my husband and I cheersing with a little bit of Gatorade because that's all we had at the hospital. So we counted down with the clock and you know, had a little bit of orange Gatorade. So I think that we're gonna make that into our family tradition from now on, is cheersing with a little bit of Gatorade, and then more champagne for mom and dad. So
I was gonna say, you can just make the champagne.
That's
orange.
true.
Nobody needs to know.
Yeah, it was just, I love the photo because we just look so tired. I think they were born at 2 p.m., so it was almost 12 hours after they were born, and we were just like exhausted. We didn't know anything. We just learned how to change a diaper and everything, and oh man, we wanted to sleep so bad, but we're like, we gotta stay up till the new year, you know?
I feel like you're gonna have to kind of walk everybody through. I mean, you don't have to go into, you know, grave detail. I don't want to put you on that spot, but I feel like everybody's going to want to know, who's listening, you know, when did you find out? When did you find out you're having twins? When did you find out they were identical twins? You know, kind of, I feel like walk everyone through what that looked like. I feel really spoiled because I was, you know,
You knew
I was so
everything, yeah.
I did. I was so excited the whole way. I felt like I was living vicariously through you. For all the good stuff, I didn't have any of the swollen ankles or the pain, but I got the better end of that deal.
Yeah, okay. So let me go all the way back. It was May of last year when found I was pregnant, and then a couple weeks later I went to the doctor and did like the initial ultrasound and everything. It was kind of uneventful, I would say. Like I didn't even get like a photo to take home. My gynecologist was like, "Oh yeah, you're pregnant. Cool. You know, we'll see you back in 3 weeks or something like that." And it was just like a little speck, you know. And then I did mention to her that I felt that my belly was pretty bloated, and she's like, "Oh, that's totally normal." I think I was like 5 weeks or something, 6 weeks. She's like, "It's totally normal. Like, you look fine, and then we'll see you later." And then a couple weeks later, when I went back, we were doing the ultrasound. They obviously are a little bit bigger on the screen, and for a few minutes, she was kind of like, she didn't say anything. And then I saw on the screen there were like two little round dots, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Maybe one is like the head and one is like the belly, because they weren't really on screen at the same time. So then after a few minutes, she's like, "Do you want to guess what's happening right now?" And I'm like, no, I'd rather you tell me. But I was like smiling, right? Because so she saw me and she's like, "Yeah, you're having twins." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's like insane." And like my husband wasn't even with me at that appointment because I was like, "Oh, it's just a routine checkup. It's nothing." Because he came with me to the first one. And then I'm like, I don't need you to go. It's fine. You got work. I'll just go by myself. And so like it came out, and then I called him like right away. I'm like, "Are you sitting down?" And guess what? And he was like, "No, what? Must be good news." And I'm like, "Yeah, so how do you feel about being a dad of two?" And he's like, "No way."
So I mean, I know we've talked about this, but is your initial response shock? Is it terror? Is it excitement? Is it a combination of all three of those?
I think it was like throughout the whole pregnancy, I was in shock. Like shock as in like I didn't like really believe that I was pregnant with twins, you know? Like I know I can see my belly, and then every subsequent doctor's visit I could see them on screen, but then I'm just like, I don't really like necessarily believe it, you know? And even after I could start feeling them, I'm like, how does that even happen? Like, I don't even have any history of twins on either side of our family. Like, Nick has, I believe, like, grandparents kind of, you know, that generation, there were some twins, like one pair of twins, but it wasn't really like his grandma or grandpa or anything like that. So I was just like, this is just kind of like abnormal. Like this one, it's like such a rare event. Why would it happen to me, right? So it was just like shock the whole time. And then even now, when I go into the room and I see two of them, I'm like, how did that even work? Like I don't understand. Why do I have two? Everybody else has one, and then I'm just like, why are there two of them? I don't understand.
You had to be extra.
I know. I always said I wanted two kids, and, you know, I'm all about, you know, getting things done efficiently, quickly. And I'm like, well, you know what? Let's just have twins. Let's just have one pregnancy, get it out of the way. And I even had one less month of pregnancy than a single baby because they were born at 36 weeks. So, hey.
Right. So what are the statistical odds for identical twins?
Okay, so I think we have to. Okay, this is like a lesson on twins, I guess. But there are fraternal twins and there are identical twins, right? But some fraternal twins can also be identical, and we'll get to that. But
Like, let me
what
get my notebook.
yeah, yes, I'm gonna have a pop quiz for you later. But fraternal twins means there are two sacs. So like two eggs are fertilized. And then an identical twin is one egg that's been fertilized, but then a few days later, they split. So it's kind of like an abnormality, basically. But I believe it's one in every 1,000 births are identical twins. So I think it's 0.3 or 0.03%. So
That's insane.
I'm like,
Thank you for coming to Jen's Twin TED Talk.
yeah, I'm like, I hope I got that right. I hope I like did not get the whole thing wrong, and then some OB is gonna like type a meme like that's completely wrong. But
I was
that's
going to say,
how
someone will correct you if that is not
someone
right.
will
Someone
correct
will
me.
let
So
you
if
know.
I'm wrong, please do. Yeah. So for identical twins, they're not really based on any hereditary genes, because it's just kind of like a fluke. Like it's not passed down. Like if usually for fraternal twins, it's passed down on your mom's side. So if your mom had twins, then you're very likely to have twins, and so on and so forth. So
That's it. I feel like one thing I've learned since you've had twins is just how many people are a twin, right? Like, I feel like it's not necessarily something that comes into daily conversation, but as soon as, because I tell everybody about the boys, I'm so excited about them. But as soon as they come up in conversation, there was someone at Target when I was getting them stuff that was like, "Oh, I'm an identical twin." We've had some partners that have come to us and said, "Hey, I'm a twin too," and it's crazy
yeah.
because
You
there's a
don't
lot
really
of them
think
out
about
there.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot, and they're always multiplied by two because they're twins. But but there are more than you think, and now that I have twins, I've found more and more people around me that I meet. They're like, "Oh, I know somebody who was twins," or like, "I'm a twin," or "My mom's a twin," or something. I'm like, "Wow, that's definitely a lot of twins out there."
That's crazy. The lady that I was speaking to who was checking me out at Target, who was a twin, was very, very, very excited to talk about it. But she brought something up that I thought was really funny. And I don't even know if I've shared this with you yet. But she said that, oh, well, those boys are going to get asked the same question that my sister and I get asked. And people don't think about it when they ask it. But everyone is always like, oh, what is it like being a twin? And she said, well, I don't know any other, I don't know any I've never known
Right.
anything else. And it's
Right.
weird to think about that. That was kind of eye-opening to me because they're going to get looked at and people are going to ask them questions, but it's just going to be normal to them.
Yeah, I mean, we think about it all the time. Like my husband and I always discuss like what it's gonna be like having twins. Like I'm always gonna be. I was just yesterday. I was like, people are gonna know me as like the twins' mom, right? Like if they go to school, there's usually just a few pairs of twins, or maybe one or two, in a class, like a grade, right? And then I'm always gonna be known as the twin mom. They're always gonna be known as the twins, and sometimes when because I went to school with a boy girl twin, and like we all knew they were twins, but like they don't necessarily look exactly the same. Like you would think that they're brother and sister until you find out they're in the same grade, and you're like, oh, you're twins, right? But like they're gonna look exactly the same their whole life. So I just like wonder what it's like for them, and especially coming from me as like a single, like a child, I didn't even have any brothers or sisters growing up, so I was all alone, and my boys have like the exact opposite, where they're always gonna have that best friend that's built in. Hopefully they're gonna be best friends.
They will be.
Yeah, I think they will be, because I think twins have like a little like a connection that normal siblings might not have. So it's just like it's so fun to think about like all these scenarios, and how they'll feel in the future and all that stuff. So it's been fun.
Right. So what's this is very quickly taking the shape of an interview. I'm sorry, but there are questions that people are going to want to ask, and I'm just trying to be that mouthpiece for them.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about being a human mom?
A human as opposed to a dog mom.
Yes.
There are so many similarities, really. I'll just talk about the similarities first, so then I can maybe think about like what's about like a human mom that I like more than a dog mom. But I think what's like super fun lately has been like watching them grow and watching them like explore their surroundings for the first time, because just like puppies, right? Like you can see them that they're like experiencing their own body, and they can see things, and they can see things that are further away, or they're finding out that they can smile, or when your puppy is like finding out that they can bark for the first time. Like all these things are just like, it's just so heartwarming to see that kind of stuff, so like that's been like the first time my boys smiled at me, like looking at me and smiling and not just like twitching. Like I was like, I probably shed a tear, it was just so cute. Yeah, it's been fun, but also been like super difficult. Like, you remember getting Bjorn, and in the early days, waking up so super early. They had to go out every 2 hours. Like it's been like that. The boys
but doubled.
Yeah, so the boys eat every 3 hours, and starting from the hospital, we would feed one and then burp it, make sure it's like fine, and then we would go to the other one and then burp and then make sure they're good, and then I would have to do my own, like go to the bathroom and everything. And then when I got back, it's like 30 minutes until the next feeding starts. I'm like, what? Like, this is like a time suck. Like, where does the time even go?
I'm exhausted thinking about it.
Yeah, it was insane. I don't think my husband slept for like the first 36 hours at all, because it was just like constantly. And in the beginning, when I was in the hospital, I had a C-section, and I was in a lot of pain and couldn't get up. I needed a lot of assistance going to the bathroom and all that stuff. So it was like, it was insane. Like I was texting you throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, don't have kids. Don't do it here.
Not.
Okay, yeah, I didn't say that.
You did not. You were a champ through all of it. You very rarely complained. You were honest, right? Like you didn't make it out to be glamorous, but I think there's very little complaining.
Oh, really? Okay, then I must have remembered things wrong. I must have complained a lot to myself.
I mean, like I feel like you. It's hard to make it make sense, how it makes sense in my brain. It didn't feel like unnecessary complaining, right? Like, yeah. If you're in pain, you're in pain. That doesn't necessarily strike me as just being, like I complain about a lot of things, and most of them are pretty trivial. I think that was just you were relaying your experience. Yeah, I did feel bad for you. It did make me want to maybe hold off on having kids for a little bit, but then I met the boys and that changed.
Don't let my experience sway you, because I mean, I can understand it was, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and it was also a weekend. So New Year's Eve last year was on a Friday, and then New Year's Day was Saturday. So I had the boys Friday afternoon, and then into Saturday and Sunday we didn't get the best care because I think a lot of people took time off, so we had like a skeleton crew, and then with all the COVID restrictions, we couldn't actually leave our room. Like we stayed in that room for 72 hours. Like we couldn't go out. It was kind of insane. But yeah, I made it through.
You did it.
I felt like I couldn't make it through those that first month. That was pretty rough.
Well, I mean, and I don't speak from experience, but it would it would make sense to me that that is the hardest because you're learning, right? Like you don't have to learn to have unconditional love for your children. That's inherent, but you have to learn, and you didn't even have to learn it with one. You had to learn it in tandem with two. So you're learning how to change diapers and how to hold babies and how to make sure they're the right temperature and how to make sure everything is good. And I mean, you can read all the books you want on this. You don't really learn until you're thrown into it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I didn't really prepare myself. I mean, I read the books and I read up on how to kind of like create a schedule for myself. People say sleep when the babies sleep. I don't know how they do that because it's just everybody has their own routine, right? Yeah. And then when you have two babies thrown into it, it's just a lot of communication, right? And then you have a partner, and right now I also have a nanny, so it's kind of like who does what and who does what when and how can I help you that makes sense, right? Like who's washing the bottles? Is everybody washing the bottles, or do we designate one bottle washer? Who gets up at night, and all these things, and you have to like communicate with your partner. And it was lots, and I think like Nick and I really were, I feel like we were kind of like in a war zone the first like 4 days in the hospital, because we didn't really have that much help from the nurses, and it was just like no sleep, like enemies coming from all sides, and we have these like things that we have to keep alive, and we don't know how, and it was just like you just have to figure it out yourself.
For anyone wondering too, that brief snippet of who's in charge of what and how can I help you do this is a perfect example of how Jen works. And Jen's work life is already coming into play in how she's managing the care of her children. I think that's making me laugh.
Yeah, that's really funny, because I'm always like, before a project, I'm like, who's in charge? Who's the product manager? Okay. If anything arises, who has the veto position? Like, who has the veto power? And all that stuff. I'm like, what are the deadlines?
What are the deadlines with the twins? Just out of curiosity.
It's just survival, just pure survival. There's nothing. There's no deadline. There's no, hey, let's go to the park today. It's like, no. I'm like, gosh. They're breathing, they're alive, and my job is done.
So for all the dog moms out there that are listening that maybe don't have children yet, or are pregnant, or are really hoping to become pregnant, do you feel like being a dog mom prepared you in any way for having human children? Maybe not the birthing process, but having puppies. Do you feel like you learned anything with Bird that made you, that prepared you mentally even?
I think so. I mean, the people, like, we had puppies at the same time, right? We brought home puppies, and they were really young, like 8-9 weeks. So they were on like a very strict schedule, right? Like every 2 weeks you take them out to pee and make sure that they don't pee in the house and things like that. So that's kind of like what babies are like. You kind of like, you keep them to a schedule. Their bladders are very small, their stomachs are very small, so you have to be like really on top of it, right? So I think it definitely prepared me. And even when I was pregnant, I will always think back, it's okay, it's just a period of time, right? Like with the dogs, it's about 4 or 5 months, I would say, of that initial potty training phase.
And obviously
yes. And then you go into a new phase of like teething and like the teenage, like digging things up. So you go into that phase. So it kind of helped me when I reminded myself, like, this phase will also pass with the babies. Probably not as fast, but it did really like prepare me mentally for it. And people always ask me like how the dogs are doing with the kids, and they're doing really well. I think in the beginning, we had really strict guidelines with the dogs. Like, you don't touch the dog. You don't touch the babies at all. Like, babies, dogs, the
Don't
same,
touch-
right? Don't touch the babies. Like, don't come close. You can sniff them, but you can't come too close, right? And then we try to calm them down when they're in the same room as the babies. So if they're like super excited or whatever, they went to another room or they went outside. And then once they're able to calm down, they can come in and sniff the babies. So it's kind of like a reward for them, right? If they're calm, then you get to sniff these cute things, these toys. But one tip that we heard was, from the hospital, bring home like a blanket that has your baby's smell, and then bring that to your dogs before you let the dogs meet the babies. And that's what we
that's
did.
So smart.
Yeah, so we had these two like swaddle blankets that we used to swaddle the babies in the hospital. And then when we went home, my husband took the baby the blankets to a different room where the dogs were, and I came home with the babies into like another entrance, and he like greeted them, so they were super excited. And after they kind of like calmed down a little bit, then they got to sniff the blankets and play with that for maybe 30 minutes, and then afterwards they met the babies and they were like fine. And so I think that really helped us kind of transition the babies into our household. And now the dogs really love the kids. I mean, they're still very, very, very careful. I'll try to get some videos of them, but they're so cute in that they're like always like creeping up towards the babies, and they don't. And then if like they start crying or whatever, Birdie especially gets scared and like she runs away because she doesn't want to hurt them or something. And then the other day we were napping on the couch, and then Birdie actually brought her blanket over and then put it on the baby and like nuzzled it and then left.
Oh my gosh.
She's so sweet.
She's so sweet. I think, I mean, your dogs are already fantastic to begin with, but we have to share the photo of you and the boys with Kramer and Birdie, because Kramer's face is exactly how I imagine Bjorn will be when I have kids. Like, what is this? When does it leave? But it's funny because that's how he felt with Birdie originally, and they love each other now.
Yeah, I think they just get used to like sharing a space and sharing a routine and everything. But sometimes like I can see that when we're all, together and we're paying attention to the boys, I see Birdie especially like looking at me from afar. And I try to like include them. I'm always like, good job, Birdie, good girl, and making sure that like I acknowledge her, like, hey, we're paying attention here, but we also see you, right? And then as much as we can, we also spend some one-on-one time with the dogs too. So and we take them on walks every day, and we don't bring the kids, so that's kind of like our dog time.
I think that's such solid advice though.
Yeah. There's like, people are always like, oh, here's my advice, and here's my advice for having kids and stuff. And like, what I learned is like, there's like really no advice to get. Like, I would not give a new parent any advice. Like, the advice I would give is like, you'll figure it out, you'll be fine. But there is no advice that people can give you that is like the best advice or it's gonna change your life or anything like that. At least I don't think so. So, I mean, it's just a matter of like you figuring out for yourself. I hate to say that, but that's how it is.
We'll revisit this when I'm pregnant and Jen has advice for me every single day.
I'm like, you should do it this way and you should do it that way.
Oh yeah, I feel like just like with dog parents, there's gatekeepers everywhere, and I think that based on what I've seen, there's a lot of gatekeepers of motherhood, and it's just gross.
Yes.
Like, you have to be supportive, try to help where you can. Don't, give advice, with the intention of helping someone, not trying to change how they do things.
Yeah, I think a lot of people give advice not knowing your situation, and like motherhood is something that's like so unique to each person, right? So like people would give advice about breastfeeding or something, and I'm like, that, like, just hearing that doesn't even make sense to me in my
Yeah.
life, right? So there's just like so much nuance involved in motherhood. So um so I try to subscribe to the idea that, like, unless they're asking, then I'm not gonna say anything. I can be like, hey, like, I have some advice, would you like to hear it? You don't
Yeah.
have to, like, take it, but and I tend to like to hear advice from other twin moms too, because I just feel like, not to sound like I'm a gatekeeper of motherhood too, but it's just like having single babies, it's just not the same as having twin babies,
Yeah.
and having like multiple kids is not necessarily like the same either. Like, I would not really understand people who have like a 2-year-old and the baby. Like,
Yeah.
I think that sounds much harder than having twins,
Yeah.
to be honest. But in the newborn phase, like, I feel like having twins is harder, just because you can't focus on one. Like, your attention is always split. So I tend to like advice from other twin moms just based on that regard, And there are a lot of people who are like, oh, so I had kids that are like 12 months apart, so
And
I
it's
know
the same
exactly.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah, I think there's just different nuances across the board.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, like, if you have a kid that's a little bit older and a newborn, then you kind of have to prepare for like both stages of life,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you have a 2-year-old and they're already eating snacks and everything, you have to, like, when you go out, you got to prepare that, and then you have to prepare like the milk and the formula for the newborn. Whereas for me, like, I just prepare twice of like what's needed for the newborn, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think it's like easier. So
Easier. I don't
Easier.
think, yeah, like, I mean, I just think it gets in, like, it touches that gray area where it's like, like, what is easier, what is harder. It's just everyone has a different story. Although I will say twins sound a lot harder for me.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're banking on twin girls coming from the Newman clan, but twins just sound terrifying. You made it look easy, but I'm
I
a
keep
realist.
telling you that I want you to have twin girls so they can be like BFFs, and then once I want to play like dress up or whatever, I'll just like come over to your house. And then when you want some, like, boy time, you can come over to my house.
You can do that with one girl.
Okay, well, no, I'm not having any more kids.
No, I'm saying if I have one girl, you could still come over for dress up
Oh,
time.
yeah, that's true. Okay, all right, okay.
And then when I need boy time, and I mean, it doesn't matter, boy or girl, everyone's getting leather jackets. That's like, I'm just waiting for the boys to be old enough. I already know which ones I'm getting them. They're going to be so cute.
Oh, wow. Well, you already got them their first band t-shirts
That's
and
right.
jean jackets, so we're just waiting until we're big enough to fit in those.
They're little. It'll be a while, but I had to at least get it so that their first band shirt came from me. It wouldn't be right otherwise.
They're already, like, they heard about it, so they're like drinking a lot of milk right now. They started at less than like 1 percentile with like height, weight, and length and all of that, and now I think they're like 50th percentile, so they're growing like really, really fast. They're doing really well for
That's
twins.
amazing.
Yeah,
They're
because
so
they want
cute.
to fit into the jackets, I heard.
I like count down the days till I see them next. Like, all right, when am I seeing them? It's in my calendar with big hearts. They're just the cutest things. I can't handle them.
They're getting very, very cute now, and now they can start smiling and laughing, and it's just a little more rewarding now, right? Because when they can smile at you, you're like, oh, they love me. Whereas before, it was just like poop, food now. Like, they have kind of different personalities too. And in the beginning, Roman was very like, he's like, I'm the stronger brother and I want food now. And I just wake up and I want food now. And then with August, like, he's a little more chill and he could wait a little bit. But recently, I think they've kind of flipped. So it's been interesting to kind of compare them. Yeah, I wonder how my boys are going to feel in the future when I keep comparing them. So maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
They were both really good when I saw them. I mean, they had just been fed, so they were in food comas.
Yeah, they were at their best. So
I mean, even at the hockey game, they were great.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
hockey game. Speaking of hockey game.
Well, are we done talking about your twin story?
Are we? I feel like
we're never going to be done.
Yeah, we can always come back to the twins. I'm sure we'll talk about them in the future.
Well, I think before we segue, I think we should take a moment because you and I have noticed that even though we've been gone, we've gotten a lot more followers. Mm-hmm. We see you guys, we see your messages, we see your DMs, and we did want to say thank you for following us and for catching old episodes and for waiting so patiently for this one. And welcome, really. I think we're a good time.
I think we are. Yeah, I know. I was telling you, I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting a lot more followers and more DMs, but like, I'm huge and I can't log in. I don't have the capacity to do it. And you're like, don't worry about it. We'll be back when we're back. And so now we're back.
Yeah. And I will say that I wasn't huge, so I didn't have that excuse. I wasn't pregnant for not responding to DMs, but I've been busy on the ZippyPaws front. My updates aren't as cute as Roman in August, but ZippyPaws has been doing some big things.
Mm-hmm. Huge things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
So last summer, we signed on as the official dog toy of the Los Angeles Kings, which is the local hockey team. For those of you who are not familiar, it was a big deal for me for two reasons. It took us a long time to sign that deal and to get everything going. COVID played a fun role in that, but I also grew up loving hockey. I grew up going to Kings games, and my parents have been huge Kings fans since before I was born. I'm fairly certain I was conceived after a Kings game. So to see it kind of come full circle, but we've done so many fun things with them, right? We had the 5K. We've done a lot of local events. We took over what formerly was the Staples Center. We gave out 18,000 donuts to the people at the game last Thursday, actually. But that was a huge partnership for us. That's ongoing. That led into NASCAR. We've done some local NASCAR events. We just recently announced that we're working with Daniel Suarez, who is a Cup Series driver, who we found through NASCAR is a huge animal lover, a huge animal fan. And just, yeah, we've been very, very lucky to be able to do so many great things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have so many new things coming in the pipeline. It's just like, it's so exciting, you know, like this is like the part of like our jobs that we love, you know, and it's like crazy to see like our logo huge in, still call it Staples Center, right? Okay. Crypto.com arena. Okay. Why is it not Crypto.com center? Like, why do they have to change like the center to the arena too? It's just it's so jarring.
That's a good question. We should try to find the answer to that. Bergen, if you're listening to this, do you know? Just me assuming everyone listens to our podcast.
Yeah. Well, we have met people through work and they're like, oh, we've heard your podcast. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, hopefully I didn't say anything like...
Right? It definitely made us more self-aware. On what
I'm like,
we say.
Okay, maybe I'm like, cross that episode off the list. Delete that.
just don't, yeah. No, and yeah, we've got a lot of really cool partnerships coming up that we can't talk about just yet. Some cool toys coming down the pipeline. We've been working with a couple different new rescue partners that we're, currently in the process of kicking things off with. So a lot of really great things for ZippyPaws. We haven't even had the chance to salute Grant. So the OG Dog Mom podcast listeners will remember Grant, who was our assistant marketing manager at the time, who did all of our editing. We'd often reference him during recording because he would be the one to edit out anytime we messed up. He has gone on to wonderful, amazing things. He is no longer with ZippyPaws, but he's still editing our podcast. So he's still there. We can always give Grant his shout outs. Say hi to him in the comment section whenever you can. But yeah, we miss him very much, but we're very proud of him.
We are very proud. He is pursuing his goals to I don't even know like what he wants to do. It's something to do with numbers and reports and statistics.
He wants to do statistics for the LA Dodgers. So my LA sports people, if you are out there and you need a numbers guru, I got you.
We got you. Okay, we're gonna work on that for him.
But yeah, like a lot of really amazing things, and I think you'll see a lot of that come through in Dog Mom podcast as well. We've got the plan to do more consistent episodes, which I think is going to be a lot easier now that my co-host is somewhat back here. I mean, you're still doing the mom thing, and I think that definitely will always take priority. But we want to get more consistent episodes. We want to have more guests. I think with our partnerships with the LA Kings and with NASCAR, that opens up the door to get, some of those people on to come and talk to us, whether they are dog mom, dog dad. We love the dog dads too. And we'd love to hear what you guys would want to see or hear or learn about or talk to. What would you like to see the dog moms do next? And I would not be sad if someone said go to Bali. Right? Oh. Like if the followers want us to go to Bali to record,
it's a work expense, huh?
Who are we to say no?
Yeah, I'm like, do you guys want to hear more about the twins? I don't know. I feel like everybody loves hearing about them, but I mean, I'm not gonna talk about it if people are like, we don't want to hear about them. We want to hear more about dogs.
Well, I'm going to talk about them even if you're not. So sorry, guys. If you're listening to this and don't want to hear about the twins, on top of all of our dog mom shenanigans, you're going to be out of luck. It is what it is. But I have some exciting news that I'll save for another episode too, regarding some philanthropy work and some charities that are upcoming that might possibly involve some of our previous guests too.
Oh, interesting.
Easter egg.
I'm like, know. do I even know about this?
You're a good actor, so you absolutely know. But thanks for sharing your story, Jen. I think I'm still so in awe of what you've been able to do. I think I've always looked up to you as a female entrepreneur, as a boss, and someone who is just steadfast and able to get stuff done. And I have an even greater appreciation for you, seeing you go through being pregnant and becoming a mom and still staying true to who you are. I think you're just becoming an even better version of yourself. And I know that you're worried that people are only going to remember you as the twin mom, and that is a part of your legacy, but that is definitely not the only thing people are going to remember you for.
That's funny. I always have like these fears. I'm like, what if like my identity is like gone and I'm not gonna have a life anymore, and I'm just gonna be the twin mom, and
oh God.
And then I won't be able to travel like I did before, and I'm just gonna be at home. Boo-hoo me.
What did I unleash?
But yeah, I mean, like, I feel that I just kind of like take all the challenges with the same kind of mindset as I've always have, and twins, schwins, like, hey,
Twins,
I got it.
Schwins. That needs to be the next shirt.
You, you know, because I read somewhere, and I read this when I was pregnant, and like I had a full-on like crying, bawling sesh after this. I wasn't really super even emotional during my pregnancy, but I read this and I was like gone, you know, and it was let me try to remember it. It said like, and I'm not even religious, but it says God wouldn't have given you twins if he didn't think that you would be able to handle them. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I can't handle twins. Like, why would I be given twins if like I couldn't be a good twin mom, right? Like, it just like, of course that I would have twins. So that really resonated with me. So
I agree with it.
yeah, I mean,
I agree with that statement. You give me hope that when I have children, I'll still be able to continue working and be taken seriously and respected as a woman outside of a mom, right? I think being a mom is such a high honor, but I think that sometimes it can get eclipsed and you lose that identity. And I think you're a good example of it just became part of who you are and not the only thing that you are. So thank you for giving me that.
Of course. And I think everybody is different. Like some people, when they have kids, like they want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like they want their work and their life's legacy to be, you know, teaching their kids and staying home and all that. And I think before when I heard like being a mom is like the hardest job, I would be like, I don't know, like why would that be that hard?
I told you.
And then I was like, and then now I'm like, dang it is a hard job. Like I can do, you know, this thing all day, right? Like do what I do as ZippyPaws, and it's hard, but like I've been doing it a long time and I know how to do it well. But with the mom thing, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't even know what to do. And like, can I be better at it? I don't even know.
It's like I was telling you this morning because you were saying you think you're so much better at all of the other things, but you've been doing it for at least half of your life, right?
Yeah.
Like you've always had that hustle. You've always had that drive to work. And I think you're already a much better mom than you give yourself credit for, but it's only going to get better. You're only going to learn more.
Yeah, you're right. You told me this morning that like I've only been a mom for almost two months, 3 months. So I'm going to get better at it. I'm like, yeah,
give
you're right.
Give yourself some
like,
grace.
You're right. I mean, some of it comes like naturally, right? Like, you're just like put into that situation, so of course like you learn to adapt, but definitely with like how to teach them things, and I think about this often, right? Like how am I supposed to teach them? How do I make sure that they become like good members of society and they're not like, you know, crazy or whatever? Like how do I teach them that? And that starts in the beginning. So I'm like, oh no, like should I start now? Like what do I do with them now?
I think the fact that you're worried about this already means that they're gonna have a fighting chance.
I don't know, what if I'm like a tiger mom and then I don't let them like have sleepovers with their friends and then I mess them up for life? I don't know. Like
I feel like that's a subtle dig at me because I'm a tiger mom with my dogs. So we're just going to move on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I just like before kids, like this was never really thought about it too much. But like now it's like this is what keeps me up. And people are like, oh, sleep when your babies sleep. I'm like, I can't. My brain.
I'm too busy worried about breaking them.
Yeah, I'm too worried about like, you know, doing something wrong when they're like really young and they end up being like serial killers or something. So
I don't even know what to say to that.
Oh, so yeah, that's the mom brain needs to shut off for a little bit.
Jen's worried about creating the next Tinder swindler.
The next Anna Delvey.
That'll be me. That'll be my luck.
Well, they'll be well dressed for sure.
That's true. I mean, in prison, but well dressed, which I mean, I guess what more could you ask for?
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, if you want to boop that follow button, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Dog Mom Podcast, and on our website at www.zippypaws.com/Dog Mom Podcast.
Woohoo! And we'll be back soon, hopefully.
2 weeks. Let's give it 2 weeks. If we're back
Okay.
in one, that's great.
Okay. Let's give our goal of 2 weeks.